Recently, news of a significant increase in the upper limit for Chinese peasants' pension contributions has become a trending topic. In early 2026, many provinces in China raised the maximum contribution levels from basic old age insurance for urban and rural residents. Yunnan province sees its contribution ceiling jump to $1,435 per year, while Anhui, Guizhou, and Liaoning provinces also more than doubled, with the highest contribution levels soaring to $717 to $1,291. However, it's worth noting that Yunnan and Guizhou are notoriously poor provinces, and Liaoning's economy has been declining. This is not meant to be derogatory when we use peasant instead of farmer, because this group represents the lowest rung of society, essentially the CCP's slave laborers. The upper limit for peasants' pension contributions has risen to $1,435. Is it a great welfare benefit or just a hollow shell with no real benefits? Major pension adjustments in 2026, with contribution years skyrocketing in many provinces. Should ordinary people cry or laugh? Previously, the highest contribution in most provinces was only $430 to $861. In 2026, it will double. For example, the highest pension contribution in Yunnan will be $1,435, in Anhui $1,291, in Guizhou $861, and in Liaoning $717. Moreover, the contribution levels are more detailed, covering all groups from $43 to $1,435. This is a village official in Anhui province introducing the pension contribution notice to villagers through a loudspeaker. It sounds a bit like a weasel paying respects to a chicken. Hello everyone, attention. The 2026 urban and rural residents basic pension insurance payment is now open. To meet the payment needs of the majority of urban and rural residents starting in 2026, a new payment level of $1,291 has been added to the existing payment levels. Those who can afford to pay more can choose the $1,291 level. Residents have already responded enthusiastically, and their payments have been credited to their accounts. We pay our own money, the government subsidizes it, and even calculates interest for us. This village official said that the money paid plus the government subsidy is deposited into the villagers' own accounts with interest rates higher than bank deposits. When they turn 60, they can receive a monthly pension. While the village official's words seem like a windfall, some netizens poured cold water in the comments section of the video saying, "I want to ask why I can't find the money I paid in 2015 and 2018. My husband and I paid together. We should have reached 15 years of contributions this year, but how come so much is missing? He paid for 14 years and I paid for 11 years. Secretary, what's going on? Please give me a reply." Although Chinese TikTok is filled with seemingly joyful voices promoting the increase in pension contribution limits as if it were a great thing, and many local governments have officially claimed things like, the more you pay, the more you receive, and after 15 years of contributions, you can receive over $100 a month. According to the Economic Observer, the CCP's policy of continuously raising the pension contribution limit has exceeded the affordability of ordinary peasants. Even after multiple increases, the basic monthly pension remains at just over $14, leading many peasants to lament. It's not that we don't want to pay, it's that we simply can't afford it. Moreover, most Chinese villagers toil year-round in the fields, earning only a few $100s annually, far short of the $1,435 annual pension contribution. Some argue that this policy is designed for wealthy rural residents and has nothing to do with ordinary peasants. China's pension system mainly consists of two categories, the urban and rural residents pension insurance and the employee pension insurance. The urban and rural residents pension insurance primarily targets peasants and non-employed urban residents, with annual contributions ranging from $29 to $1,435, subsidized by the Chinese government based on contribution levels. The employee pension insurance, on the other hand, targets enterprise employees and so-called self-employed individuals, with contributions typically calculated as a percentage of the average social wage, generally exceeding $1,435 annually. The urban and rural residents pension insurance comprises a basic pension plus personal account pension. The basic pension relies heavily on government subsidies, while the personal account contribution depends entirely on the individual's ability to contribute, how much they can afford. The CCP encourages its citizens to actively contribute to the pension system, but how much will they actually receive each month? Someone consulted relevant staff and learned that even if they paid the maximum amount, the monthly pension they would receive wouldn't be much. If I pay into the urban and rural residents basic pension insurance for 15 years in 2026, how much pension will I receive upon retirement? What is the maximum amount I can pay into the urban and rural residents basic pension insurance for 2026? $1,722. The highest annual contribution is $1,722. Can children contribute financially? Yes, they can. The highest contribution is also $1,722 per year. So the maximum annual contribution can be $3,444. Yes, the maximum annual contribution is $3,444. If I contribute at the highest level for 15 years, how much pension will I receive after retirement? The staff explained that the resident pension insurance benefits consist of two parts. The first part is the basic pension, which is currently $37 per month. The second part is the individual account pension, which depends on the total amount in the individual account. Excluding the annual subsidies and interest, if this person contributes the maximum of $1,722 per year for 15 years, plus the child's annual contribution of $1,722, the total contribution over 15 years would be $51,658. Dividing the $51,658 by 139, the number of months for payment gives approximately $372 per month. This is from the individual pension account plus the 37 basic pension for a total of $409 per month. At the end of 2025, the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security of China announced that pension adjustments would continue, and the age of 70 is becoming a key watershed for pension policies in many parts of the country. For example, Jiangsu Province stipulates that in 2025, retirees aged 70 and above will receive an additional $5 per month on top of the general adjustment, and those aged 75 and above will receive an additional $4.3 per month. Guangdong Province provides an additional $4.30 per month for those aged 70 to 74, and an additional $7.20 or more for those aged 75 and above. Beijing is even more direct, providing a flat $7.20 per month to anyone aged 70 or above, regardless of urban or rural location, or whether they work for a company or institution. At first glance, it seems like a very favorable policy, but a closer look reveals the irony. Only those aged 70 and above receive an extra $5 per month with a maximum of $7.20. However, prices in China are constantly rising. How many bowls of noodles or kilograms of rice could that extra $5 to $7 buy each month? Moreover, the harsh reality is that not only do many elderly people not live to 70, but the death rate among younger generations, such as those born in the 1980s and 90s, has also been alarming in recent years. Therefore, the CCP's seemingly high-profile gesture of party benevolence is largely a means of deceiving the people. Furthermore, besides the differences in the system, there are significant disparities in pensions for peasants across different regions of China. Peasants in Shanghai can receive a basic pension of over $144, while peasants in Henan and Gansu only receive $21 per month, the CCP's so-called national minimum standard. One blogger commented, "If we're talking about the most difficult group in society right now, I think it's the peasants born in the 1960s. That assessment shouldn't be an exaggeration, right? If there's a second place in my eyes, it's the young and middle-aged people born between 1985 and 1995, specifically those whose families originated in the rural areas. I think most people would agree. Of course, what's saddest is that these two generations I just mentioned might all come from the same family." Netizens commented, "The 120 million peasants have the least voice online. Even more pessimistic is that many of those born in the 1980s and 1990s are children of those born in the 1960s and 1970s in rural areas. Most importantly, seeing my father say that I have $29 a month smilingly really breaks my heart." Some sarcastically remarked, "My grandfather received a pension of $28.70 a month. He passed away last year and no longer needs the government to pay him that $28.70. With such a heavy economic burden, we can't burden the country." The disparity between urban and rural pensions is even more heartbreaking. According to official Chinese data in 2023, the average pension for retired enterprise employees in China was $454 per month, while the average pension for villagers was only $31 per month, a difference of 14.8 times. Furthermore, the amount of peasants' pensions varies from province to province. Data on peasants' pensions in 31 provinces of China in 2025 shows that Shanghai has the highest, with peasants receiving $223 per month. Shanghai is the only province or municipality in China where peasants' pensions exceed $215. Beijing peasants' pensions are nearly $144, ranking second nationwide. Other regions mostly range from $14.40 to $57.40. Specifically, Xinjiang $58, Hainan $36, Jiangsu $35.40, with some areas seeing increases, Shandong $30, and Jiangxi $26. Peasants in Heilongjiang and Yunnan provinces receive only about $14.40 to $17 per month in pensions. Some netizens pointed out that urban seniors have pensions and medical insurance, while elderly peasants still have to work in the fields. What can $31 a month buy? Only about 20 kilograms of rice and a few kilograms of eggs. Now, rural seniors over 60 still have to work in the fields because their meager pensions are insufficient to live on. Just because they live in rural areas, they only receive $18.70 a month in pension, while we city dwellers receive $430 or $717 a month, which is considered low. Some people's pensions are too low, especially for peasants. The average rural elderly person's pension is about $35, which is only enough to buy 2 50-pound bags of flour. Of course, society has been calling for an increase in pensions for these people. For example, there were increases in 2024 and 2025. How much were the increases each time? $2.90. So there seems to be a social mentality that giving these people a little bit more is a favor. But is it really a favor, or is it something they deserve? Don't we peasants deserve pensions? We are the first group to pay Social Security. You'd think it was over after paying the grain tax? There were also the 3 fees and 5 charges. The peak 5 charges reached over 20 levels. Yes, Chinese peasants are the first group to pay substantial taxes. In China's extremely rapid urbanization process, Chinese peasants have been exploited and used by the CCP to support this urbanization. From 1980 to 2005, Chinese peasants not only had to pay grain taxes to the CCP authorities, but they also had to pay 3 fees and 5 charges. These were fees levied on peasants for village and township level public affairs. The 3 fees refer to village level public accumulation funds, public welfare funds, and management fees. The public accumulation funds were used for irrigation of farmland, basic instruction, afforestation, and the purchase of productive fixed assets. The 5 charges refer to township-level education surcharges, family planning fees, militia training fees, road construction fees, and preferential treatment fees. Many peasants toil their entire lives only to receive meager pensions in their old age, some even receiving none at all. A 67-year-old retired banker shared his thoughts with the media. I have a very strong opinion about this. We are all human beings and we all live in China, but our treatment is different and the gap is huge. My monthly pension is $1,148, while some peasants receive only $12, which is so unfair. Peasants can't afford medical care, while high-ranking officials spend tens of millions of dollars a year on medical care. Isn't that unfair? Let me tell you the hurting truth. We are all Chinese people under the same blue sky, do you know? Some people don't have to pay for medical care and even stay in luxury rooms, while others go bankrupt because of medical expenses. Those who used to pay grain taxes have seen their monthly pensions increase several times, but they only get around $20 monthly. Meanwhile, those who eat with the government's bowl, their monthly pensions can reach several $100s, even over $1,000, and increase every year more than they can spend. This is indeed the current reality. In August 2025, Zhu Xiaolin, a retired veteran from Chongqing, posted a video online in which his 81-year-old maternal grandfather recalled the Chinese Communist Party had stipulated in 1953 that land had to be distributed according to population, and peasants were required to pay grain taxes based on the amount of land they owned. Zhu Xiaolin said, "My grandfather was one of those who actually paid grain taxes. In 2006, the agricultural tax was abolished nationwide, ending the history of peasants paying grain taxes. My grandfather paid grain taxes for 52 years. In 2025, his grandfather's monthly Social Security payment was only $27, less than 1% of the monthly income of a retired provincial-level official." My grandfather paid grain taxes while enduring hunger times, so why could he get the same of those who receive government-funded jobs? As a peasant son witnessing my grandfather's life, I feel that the lives of peasants in this region are as insignificant and worthless as straw. Therefore, I want to shout, I am Chinese, I demand fair retirement. One netizen said, my parents farmed their whole lives and now they receive $26 a month. After buying their blood pressure medication, there's hardly anything left. Our retired neighbors receive over $400 a month and spend their days in the park and dancing in the square. This disparity is bitterly disappointing. Blogger Do You Eat Fried Dough Sticks questioned in an article that peasants paid grain taxes for decades, feeding generations of Chinese people with cheap grain and supporting urban development with their land. Yet, in their old age, they receive pensions that are a fraction of what retired employees receive. Is this the reward for their life's dedication? Therefore, people often see videos circulating online showing elderly people in rural areas setting up stalls to sell vegetables or working in the fields. On February 25, 2021, the CCP held a national commendation conference to summarize and praise China's poverty alleviation efforts. CCP leader Xi Jinping announced a complete victory in the battle against poverty. However, in reality, regardless of whether in urban or rural areas, the lives of ordinary Chinese people remain extremely difficult. On January 6, 2026, two Chinese bloggers visited a 100-year-old grandmother in a village in Yiming Mountain, Shandong Province. Have you eaten? What food? I can't even get a steamed bun. What's your favorite snack? I've never tried any. I don't know which ones are good. I haven't bought any. Want a banana? What's a banana? I don't know. Netizens commented, just asking what a banana is brings tears to my eyes. So, the so-called prosperous and powerful nation, I don't believe. The Communist Party and Xi Jinping are selectively blind to such things. There's no other way but to eliminate the Communist Party. A video circulating online shows a man in Hunan province selling fried rice on the street. I'd like fried rice. What kind of fried rice? I'd like one with cured pork. Cured pork? Yes, okay. How much? Cured pork fried rice is $2.90. Want some chili? Bro, I want chili. Just a little, right? Just a little, just a little. What time will you be able to go home? Around 2 a.m. 2 a.m.? Yes. It's tough. Oh well, that's life. Just keep trying, right? This is the difficult daily life of ordinary Chinese people. Meanwhile, the wealthy and privileged elite of the CCP live in extravagance. Recently, a widely circulating post on Chinese social media revealed that a CCP tobacco system official receives approximately $2,726 per month in a retirement pension. According to calculations, if he dies around age 90 and receives the pension for approximately 30 years, at current prices, this official's lifetime retirement pension would be approximately $982,000. In 2020, a detailed retirement pension statement purportedly belonging to Zheng Tuobin, the former Minister of Economic and Trade of China, circulated widely online. The statement showed a monthly retirement allowance of $1,446, a living allowance of $3,702, a self-employment allowance of $502, a retirement subsidy of $1,408, and other miscellaneous subsidies totaling $7,067 per month. One netizen commented, "This is just the publicly disclosed retirement pension of a ministerial-level official in the CCP. It's merely their pocket money. CCP officials also enjoy unseen benefits and privileges which are rarely available globally. Some have pointed out the evil aspects of the CCP. It's time for us Chinese people to clarify our relationship with our country and our government. If a country doesn't represent its people, if a country's government doesn't serve its people, then the government is the enemy of the people. In short, the CCP does not represent China. Officials at all levels of the CCP authorities are rampant with corruption, sending their children and grandchildren abroad to enjoy life while giving the hardest working peasants the lowest pensions, which are barely enough to make ends meet. The Central Commission for Discipline and Inspection of the CCP raided the home of Wang Yilin, chairman of the CNPC. This is cash hidden in the basement. It's said that Wang accepted bribes totaling as much as around 130 billion. The CCDI confiscated valuables from his home, requiring 10 trucks and a week to transport them. Now, people should understand why life is so difficult for Chinese people. The CCP's tyranny has also sparked popular resistance.
是觉得自己那套
Do you think you can keep playing your old tricks forever? Let me tell you, times have changed. This declaration of war is a challenge to all injustices. Your underhanded methods are nothing but paper tigers in today's sunlight. We have laid a tight net from the law to the hearts of the people, just waiting for the right opportunity. Remember, we will win this battle. Justice is not far away, it's on its way. These words resonate with many. More and more Chinese people are awakening. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.